Okay, so this is a question from a person with a Hodgkin type of lymphoma, and what's being asked is, does the size, the bulk of the tumor that this person had when they were originally diagnosed have an influence on the likelihood that doctors will be able to get rid of it with appropriate treatment? And the answer is definitely yes. It's a very simple answer because it actually makes good common sense. Bulky simply means that the tumor is big. If it's big, it means that there are many cells involved. If there are many cells involved, it must have taken a while to grow to that size. So this has been around for a while. So by the time that it has been figured out that the Hodgkin lymphoma was present, the fact that it's bulky tells us that the person has had it for an extended period of time, and it's grown to the point where there are many cells that have to be gotten rid of. But the good thing about the question that we've just heard is that we hear that this patient is in remission. That means the doctors have given the treatment they thought appropriate, chemotherapy or chemotherapy and radiation, and signs of the lymphoma appear to be gone. That means the doctors have done tests, they've looked hard, and they can't see any evidence that it's still present. So we say that that person is in remission. We don't really know if they've been cured. What we do know is that there's no evidence right now that they haven't been cured. And so we can be optimistic in the case of Hodgkin lymphoma that having made any sign of the disease go away, it's highly likely that the person has been cured. So at the time of diagnosis, I would have told a person like this, the fact that the tumor is bulky tells me that it is somewhat less likely that we're going to be able to cure it. But at the time of remission, after the treatment's over, the fact that the person has had all the signs of their disease go away tells me that that bulkiness doesn't matter anymore. And the fact that it was bulky in the first place is no longer important or relevant. And the most important thing is all the signs of it have gone away. So getting into a full remission cancels out any negative impact of the initial bulky or large size of the tumor. So the question is, what are B symptoms and why do they occur and why are they associated with lymphoma? So B symptoms refer to one of three things. Either a person has lost a significant amount of weight, or they have heavy sweats at night, or they have a persistent, otherwise unexplained fever. Any one of those three is a B symptom. Well, I have to back up a little bit and talk about these two sets of cells, the B cells and the T cells. But I want you to think of them like, I think we have to stand farther apart. Yeah. So I think that's what it is. Back over here? Okay, I'll wander over this side again. Okay. So we have to think about these B cells and T cells. So let's think about them like an army. An army is organized with officers, those are the T cells, and infantry, those are the B cells. And the officers have to tell the B cells what to do. The officers have to tell the infantry how to march or whatever. Well, they have to send signals. Now, lymphocytes can't talk, and they don't have telephones or telegraphs or anything else, so there's only one way they can communicate with each other, and that is chemically. So the T cells can release chemicals into the environment around them that float through the bloodstream and influence and tell the B cells what to do. So a common kind of signal, for instance, is that you might have an infection, say, on your arm, and your body, the cells that assemble there, know that they need to call in some more cells to help to deal with it. So they send out a signal that says to certain kinds of cells, macrophages among others, come here and help me with this infection. And that signal circulates through the body, and the macrophages migrate to your arm and help to deal with the infection. So one of the kinds of signals that can be sent out from cells like this is a signal to increase the average temperature of the body. Because it turns out that certain germs have a much harder time if your body's a little bit warmer. The temperature bothers them. So one of your defenses, one of a person's defenses, is to increase their temperature, to have a fever. So the cells send out a signal, have a fever, that'll help get rid of these germs. Well, when the lymphocytes become sick and ill and broken and they're not working properly, they can do this mistakenly. They can erroneously send the signal for fever out into the body, and you'll then develop a fever at a time when you needn't have done so because you don't have any infection to have that help with, but you have the fever that can constitute a B symptom. And very similar arguments are there for night sweats and for weight loss. These are too much of a signal that shouldn't be there, and it's just the two different kinds of lymphocytes trying to talk with each other, and the malignant cells are releasing these signals at a time when they shouldn't. So I don't think I ever speak to a patient group, but somebody asks me about vitamins and minerals and whether they should take them and what it might do to their immune system. So I kind of expected that question. So what do we really know about the connection between vitamins and minerals and health and the immune system? Well, what we know is that if you have a deficiency of vitamins, that this can cripple the immune system. So years ago, when we didn't understand what scurvy was, and sailors didn't get a source of vitamin C, on long voyages, they would develop scurvy. And their teeth would fall out, their skin would get covered with red spots, and they would get all sorts of unusual infections because their immune system wasn't working properly. So a vitamin C deficiency led to an immune deficiency and illness. That's a sensible observation, and you can fix that problem by providing enough vitamin C. And that observation has led people to speculate that maybe if enough vitamin C helps the immune system to work normally, a lot of vitamin C or some other vitamin would make the immune system work even better. The difficulty is that the second half of that doesn't seem to actually turn out to be true. That is, if you correct the deficiency, the immune system will work normally, but you can't make it work any better than normally. It just works the way it's supposed to. It can't be made to work more aggressively than that. And it doesn't appear that any amount of additional vitamins or minerals provided to the immune system can make it pump up and work harder. So I don't think that beyond correcting for any minor or major deficiency that might be present, that vitamins and minerals can make things turn out any better with respect to a lymphoma. Now sometimes, in the course of taking treatment, people don't eat properly. They don't get the kind of a variety of foods that they should, and therefore they don't get the variety of sources of vitamins and minerals that they need, and so they have the potential that they might become somewhat deficient. And that's easily dealt with by taking a simple multivitamin, which will provide all the vitamins that you need, regardless of what you're eating. So in the situation where a person's not eating properly and their nutrition is compromised, simple supplementation with just a multivitamin makes a lot of sense to me. It can't do any harm. But I haven't seen anywhere clear evidence that exceeding that and going up to super amounts of vitamins or minerals can further boost things and make them any better. And I don't think the system works that way. I think once it's working properly, it can't be made to work any better. So vitamins and minerals, if you are eating a deficient diet, make up a deficiency. But beyond that, the best approach is to simply eat a wide variety of foods in your diet, have lots of natural sources of vitamins and minerals, and your body will pick and choose what it needs, absorb what it wants, and function quite